What are Ad Rem's main goals and future plans in the recycling industry?
We always like to stay ahead, so we are focusing a lot on R&D at the moment. In our home base in Menen in Belgium, we are now building a test facility where we are testing the newest technologies for the recovery of both plastic and metals from shredder residues.
How does the OWL system reduce manual work and save time?
With the OWL, we have combined FTIR and X-ray technology to determine both the composition and the type of plastic flakes. So it's a device used for analysis. This is automated, so you prepare a number of samples, you put them in a tray, you enter the tray into the machine and you press start. 2 hours later you come back, you have all the results. This device measures about 200 flakes in one run. So instead of having to put flake by flake onto the machines, you just prepare the flakes once, it takes 5 or 10 minutes, and then you come back when everything has been processed. So we basically automated the measurement of the FTIR and the X-ray, and we combined the two technologies into one machine.
How do you combine chemical element detection and plastic type identification in one system?
The FTIR is a commercially available model. We can integrate, in our case it's from Thermo Fisher. The FTIR measures the spectrum of the flake, so it determines the plastic type, for example PE, PP, PSA, BS. The X-ray is an XRF machine, like the handheld scanners, and that one determines the composition. So you can detect elements like bromine, chlorine, antimony, and so on, over 30 elements. And so combining these two technologies, you can, for every flake, you can say this is this type of plastic, and it contains these elements in this amount.
Why is OWL better than standard methods for analyzing black plastics?
The traditional way of, let's say, analyzing plastic flakes is the NIR machine. They are faster because they detect in a different way, but the limitation is that you cannot detect a black plastic because the spectrum that is red, black absorbs the spectrum, so it doesn't reflect anything back, and with NIR you cannot see it. What we have seen from our research with our device is that if you, for example, take a mix of SDA plastics, small domestic appliances, about half of them will be black. And if you look at the composition of the black flakes, it's very different from what you can detect. So you will detect part of the flakes, but the flakes that you cannot detect that are black, they are a very different composition. One specific example, one certain input stream was 12% polyamide. This polyamide was all black. So if you would use NIR to try to analyze the sample, you would not even see that there is polyamide inside. So that is, let's say, a blind spot, literally, that we fix with using FTIR instead of near-infrared.
How does OWL help recyclers meet bromine and POP's regulations?
With the regulation, you have a certain threshold, a limit of bromine you can have in your recycled plastic. If you are a plastic recycler, usually how to deal with that today is you do the compounding, the extrusion, you test your product, and if you are above the limits, you have to reprocess or you have to do something, but the detection is usually done after the fact, basically. By using the OWL, you can detect for every flake where is the bromine and how much is it. And for example, if you take a batch of 100 flakes, it's possible only maybe 3 flakes contain bromine, but in a very high amount. And so if you can see that before you go to the extrusion, you can perhaps identify the source of the bromine and eliminate it, so that before you make your final product, you already have a lower bromine content, so you know your production will not be affected by the bromine and you will be able to reach the legal limits.
Which other trade fairs or industry events will your company be attending later this year?
In June we will be at E-Waste World in Frankfurt, also presenting our OWL machine and giving demos. And in September we will be at RWM in the UK. Everyone is welcome to come by and see this magnificent machine in action.